Well, happy Friday night. Hope you've had a lovely Friday. And not much news today, so this is going to be a short one. And we're mostly going to be talking about what happened with the labor reports this morning. And then we'll talk about Tesla, of course. So this is Randy Kirk. It is my regular Friday night show where we talk about the good news and, if necessary, the bad news of the week, especially with regard to Tesla. So if you like this kind of content, please let me know so that I know that I should keep doing this Friday night show. And then subscribe and hit the notify button if you'd like to know about some of the upcoming things. I'm also starting to put my upcoming titles pretty much in the information below. I do change them from time to time because things come up that make it important that I do something different. But in general, you can kind of get an idea of what is coming up a few days in advance. All right, let's dig right in here. The labor numbers were boring. Well, okay. So first of all, they were pretty much spot on as to what the street was expecting. If there was a market today, it probably wouldn't have caused much of a ripple. The numbers were kind of in the direction that maybe the Fed would like to see. So that would tend to make you think that the bond market would have continued in its downward approach. But no, that's not what happened. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, in detail, first of all, the overall number of job increase was almost exactly where the market thought it would be, actually just teeny bit lower. And then the number of hours worked was slightly down. The wages were up around 4%, which I think the Fed will be happy with. Yes, 4% sounds like, oh, that would still mean 4% inflation, but not necessarily. It is a lagging indicator. And I think the Fed would be okay with the idea that the employees need to catch up with this high inflation previously, which they're not doing currently. The inflation has been way ahead of what wages have been. So while the Fed was concerned about wage price inflation spirals, this is not quite the same thing. There should be a period of time where wages do tend to stay up a little bit as a lagging indicator. May not stay that much longer, a few more months, if the economy is in fact cooling off and if jobs are going down. The problem is we still have almost 10 million jobs, and it's a 7-to-1 ratio of jobs available compared to the number of people that are looking for jobs. So that's not suggesting we'll see a lot of softening in wage increases. Personally, I'd be fine with that 4%, 3%, 4% number continuing for months into the future. Not sure the Fed will be fine with that unless the overall CPI, PPI, et cetera, are going down nicely, which I think they will be. All right, so then I'm thinking, well, the bonds should be, and let me just mention the one takeaway out of the rest of the report was construction was particularly down. That's typical in the winter, although it should have been seasonally adjusted. Watch this one, watch the labor to see, construction labor to see what happens as we go into the spring months when normally you would expect people to start fixing up their homes and more housing and apartment buildings to start being built. All right, now let's go back to the bond yields. So I thought, with those job numbers, since the bond market, the treasury bond market was open today, you would see that can at least stay the same or go down. No, they did tick up. I'm going to look at that as being a one-day, short week, no equity market thing. Not sure, and it didn't go up much, and it had gone down a lot. I mean, the yield had gone down a lot. It was down to 3.3 and even a tad under 3.3. So popping up to 3.4 today, I think it's a non-event, but let's see what happens on Monday and Tuesday. All right, so let's see. Kathie Wood should be coming out with a report later tonight. If she does, I will change my plan for tomorrow morning. And that will be the tomorrow morning thing that I do would be reporting on Kathie Wood's report, giving you the short version with my take. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, I am doing something which you'll find very unusual. I'm going to try to see the market and Tesla through the eyes of a regular bull or even a less than bull, like a conservative fund manager on Wall Street. I'm going to try to understand how Gary black gets to his numbers. So that means the total Uber bull Randy is going to try to really see it through their eyes. And I think this will be enlightening. I hope you'll like it. It was enlightening to me to even try to go into that space. So we'll see what you think about it tomorrow. If that one doesn't happen in the morning, that will be the afternoon show. Okay, let's see here. Good Tesla news, best Tesla news. JB Strobel is coming back to the Tesla fold. Of course, he was one of the founders with Elon in the very beginning, was with the company for 15 years as the chief technical officer. I'm not sure that was exactly the right title, but titles are kind of funny over at Tesla. Elon has famously said that he wishes that it was just he and JB that had started Tesla and things would have gone a lot smoother. So he's a big fan of JB Strobel. I think JB is a big fan of Elon Musk. It is fantastic to have him back on board. Several people have said, well, what about conflict of interest? Won't Tesla be buying some of these Redwood materials? Oh, okay. So he's the president and founder of Redwood Materials, who is doing recycling of lithium ion and other batteries and getting out like 97% of the good stuff and then reselling it. And one of his customers is Tesla. Moreover, Tesla has said they're doing their own recycling. Now, so far, I'm assuming that is what we call industrial recycling, where they're recycling internally what their bad parts and stuff that they can recycle internally, not going out and buying batteries, dead batteries or bad batteries or old batteries from other people and then recycling, not going to be competing with JB. So I don't think this is going to be a conflict of interest over time. It could become a conflict of interest, let's say 2-3 years from now, if another competitor comes in and is out there competing with JB, and or if the numbers just really get big. But I think the numbers won't get big for years, probably 5 or 6 years before they really get big. Anyway, that's my take on that. Other people are saying, hey, maybe this is suggesting that in the future there will be a merger between the two companies. I hope not. You know me, I'm going to spin things off. So I don't think there'll be a merger. I think this JB Redwood Materials will stay as an independent company. And then other people are saying, well, maybe JB will become the next, the next Elon. He'll be the guy that takes over as Techno King. And similarly, as much as I think that would be wonderful, I don't think that's going to happen. Although maybe JB's clever enough to do both. Maybe he could appoint his own CEO to run a much less sophisticated, complicated business and become CEO or Techno King at Tesla. Maybe we'll see. Time will tell. Interesting stuff to speculate about. Let me know in the comments below what you think might happen. All right, let's see. So besides that news, we also had the Tesla dropping prices. They dropped the prices in the United States on the S and the X in particular, but also on the Y. They dropped some pricing in the United States after having done so earlier this week in Australia. I'm going to do an entire video. It could be up Sunday. It could be up Monday. It could be up Tuesday. Things are kind of in flux right now, but I want to do an entire video on what I now believe Tesla's pricing strategy to be. I think they're basing it kind of on the airline strategy. Elon has mentioned in the past that he likes the airline strategy of being able to move prices around a lot as demand and supply are shifting. I think that's exactly what's happening. We've seen him raise prices in some categories and in some regions. We've seen him lower prices. We've seen a lot of moving around. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows what's the costs that are going down. He knows the raw material costs that are going down. He knows, he's got a full range of knowledge about this. We'll learn a lot on the 19th, I think, when we see the earnings report and the earnings call afterwards about the pricing, about the margins, about the average cost of sale. Those are going to be the three biggies everybody's going to be paying attention to on the 19th. All right. So I think that, let's see. I've seen a lot of nice reporting on Master Plan 3. I thought it was fantastic, of course. I suggest to people that if you have friends who believe that global warming is a problem, or that we're all going to be incinerated, as we walk out into our backyard sometime in the future, show them Master Plan 3 and say, would you get behind this? Nothing is going to change the amount of CO2, the amount of pollutants, et cetera, nearly as fast as what Elon is suggesting can be done in 10 years at $10 per person per month on the planet. I did an entire video about this yesterday, I believe. If you want to see my entire video about the $10 per person per year, I'm sorry, $10 a month per person for 10 years, and how that will do the 10 trillion that's needed. But that nobody needs to do that because companies are going to be doing that outlay in order to be part of the new energy economy. And it's already happening. This is already happening at scale. It's starting to go into the S curve in many countries, in Europe, China, Australia, the country here that I live in, California, the fifth largest economy in the world. Anyway, it's happening already. Governments need to just get out of the way and let it happen. Show that to your friends, suggest to them that they just need to get behind that and see that that is where what's going to make the changes. So let's see. Didn't hear any updates about Elon going to China. Didn't hear any updates about a mega pack factory in China. Those are the two things I've been watching for. I'll continue to keep my eye out for them. Again, a little bit of a short one on this Friday night. Hope you have a great Easter weekend. If you're around and you have time, check out some of the videos that are coming up over the weekend, and then hit notify so you know that they do come out, and like if you'd like this content. And then the last thing is you need to join Patreon. Been a pretty good week. Several people joining Patreon this week. $5 a month is the lowest price you can get in for, but you know that's one latte a month, right? Okay, great talking to you.